Kindergarten! Before we start our math lesson today, did you practice those numbers? Did you practice those two-dimensional shapes? And did you go and practice your three-dimensional shapes? I hope you did, because that is what we are talking about today for math. We are talking about our three-dimensional shapes, our solid shapes. Those are the ones that I can wrap my fingers around. I have two of them today for you. I have do you remember what this one is called? A sphere, and I have a cube. And what we're going to do today, I'm just going to hold these up, and I want you to take a minute to look at them, because we are going to be comparing and contrasting them today. We're going to be seeing if there's anything the same and if there's anything that's different. When we come back, I want you to have at least 3 things that are different and see if you can find one thing that's the same. I'll see you when you're ready. All right, did you find 3 things that were different about our two solid shapes and at least one thing that's the same? Let's go ahead and talk about the things that are different about our two solid shapes, our cube and our sphere. So the first thing that I see is that our cube has these parts. They're kind of like a corner, like maybe if you have 2 walls that come together, and these are called edges. My cube has a few edges around it. Does my sphere have any parts where like walls come together? No, it doesn't have any edges. So, stay right there. Oh, stay there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this awesome chart that I made where I have a sphere and a cube, and I'm going to write the 2 things that are different, kind of like when we do a Venn diagram. So, right under here, underneath sphere, I'm going to write no edges. No edges. And over here underneath cube, I'm going to write edges, because it does have edges. Edges. Awesome, kindergarten. Let's see what else is different about these 2 shapes. So I'm looking at them, and I notice already something else that's different about them. I noticed that my cube has all of these pointy parts. These pointy parts are where my edges come together. I see 1, 2, 3 edges coming together for this one pointy part. And that pointy part's called a vertex. And if we have more than one vertex, we call that vertices. Just like when we have our two-dimensional shapes, they have vertices or corners or pointy parts. Same with our three-dimensional shapes. They have vertices too. Except let's look at the sphere. Do you see any pointy parts, any corners, any vertices on this sphere? I don't either. Poor sphere, you don't have any of those either. So I'm going to write no vertices under sphere. Don't leave me, sphere. And I'm going to write vertices underneath our cube. Oh, sphere, I'll get you later. So no vertices. Oh, it left. I'll have to go get it. No vertices. I can hear it rolling away. And I'm going to write right here, vertices underneath cube, because it does have vertices. So these are the 2 things that we have found so far that are different. No edges, edges. No vertices, vertices. I have to go retrieve our runaway sphere. I'll be right back. Kindergarten, I found our sphere since he rolled away, and that kind of reminds me of one more thing that we see that's different. What is something that my sphere does that my cube doesn't do? My sphere rolls. He rolls and rolls and rolls, and I'm going to keep him. You stay right there, dude. He rolls. A sphere rolls. And my cube, its shape is similar to a dice. A dice is shaped just like a cube. And I know that we say roll the dice, but if I get it rolling, it's not going to keep rolling. But if I start rolling my sphere, it will keep rolling until it rolls away. So my sphere rolls and my cube doesn't roll. So I'm going to write that over here. Doesn't roll. Okay, this is what our chart looks like so far. So again, our sphere has no edges, no vertices, and it rolls, and we're going to talk about that later. And my cube has edges, has vertices, and it doesn't roll. So let's talk about some things that are the same about these shapes. The first thing I know that's the same about them is that they are both three-dimensional shapes. They're both solid shapes. I can wrap my fingers around both of them. The other thing you might say is, Miss Stahler, they're both made out of wood. Yeah, that's true too, but that doesn't really have to do with their shape. There's something else that they both have. Can you find it? Do you see how there's a flat part right here on my cube? There's another flat part, another flat part, another one. Well, my sphere doesn't have any flat parts, but it is, what could we call that? Round or curved. It still has one of these, even though it's round or curved. These parts on my cube that are flat, these are called its faces. It's faces. My cube has many faces. My sphere just has one face because it's round. It's connected all the way around it. It doesn't have any vertices or any edges stopping it and going to a new face, just like my cube. My cube has a face here and then it stops. Whoop! Face here, stops. Whoop! One here. So it has many faces going all around. Let's count how many faces are on, oh, you sphere, you silly sphere. Let's count how many faces are on my cube. I'm going to hold it just like this, and we're going to count. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 faces. And my sphere only has one face because it goes all the way around, just one. So I'm going to mark that down on the bottom part, and I'm going to put it in between because we can put that they both have faces. Both have faces. And I put that down on the bottom in between, kind of like when we do a Venn diagram, to show that they both have something. So my sphere has no edges, no vertices, but it does roll. And my cube has edges and vertices, it doesn't roll, and they both have faces. Good job, kindergarten. All right, what I want you to do next, I want you to go and grab some Play-Doh. Make sure you have some Play-Doh. If you don't have any Play-Doh, that's okay, because I sent a recipe to your grown-ups so that they could make you some Play-Doh at home. I'll put the recipe down below too so that your grown-ups can check it out. When you have your Play-Doh, come on back because we are going to make our shapes next. I'll see you when you're ready. All right, so let's take our big thing of Play-Doh. Do you have your Play-Doh? And first, I need you to squish it all together. Squish it all, make it nice and soft. If you made homemade Play-Doh, then yours is probably really super soft. Squish it all together. And let's go ahead, and the easiest one to make first would be our sphere. And all we have to do is roll it in between our hands. Roll it in between our hands for a while. If that gets tiring, you can roll it on the table too. This is how I make Buckeyes around Christmas time. Rolling out the Buckeyes. I've been doing that since I was a kid. You may also want to take your hands and you may want to squeeze some parts together. Sometimes our spheres can get a little lumpy and we can squeeze them together. And I know, kindergarten, if you're looking at my Play-Doh, you're probably thinking, Miss Stahler, somebody has put more than one color together. I know. I keep Play-Doh here at my house so that my friends who have kids, so they have something to play with when they come over. And we have a rule at my house. You don't have to put the Play-Doh back exactly how you found it. It's okay to mix the colors at my house. It's okay. I know, Miss Stahler doesn't let us do it in the classroom because then we would have some crazy colors going on. But in my house, it's okay. Is it okay to mix the colors at your house when you talk about your Play-Doh? I hope so. Sometimes it can be fun. If it's not, that's okay too, because sometimes it's okay so that we have our colors separate. Because if we want to make different foods, like if we want to make an orange, well, I can't make an orange with purple Play-Doh. That's ridiculous. I would need orange Play-Doh. All right, kindergarten, do you have your sphere? Do you see how it looks like a ball? We have our sphere now. It's all round. It shouldn't have any vertices, it shouldn't have any faces, and it shouldn't have any edges. It is all round, just like a ball. So now we're going to take that sphere and we're going to turn it into a cube. So we need to give it some faces, some vertices, and some edges. And how we're going to do that is we're going to take our fingers and our thumb, put our fingers up top, our thumb down below, and then we're going to take our other fingers and our other thumb, kind of like if we're a crab, and we're going to pinch this way. And we're just going to start pinching it in and then turn it. Pinch it a little bit again and turn it. Pinch it and turn it. Just keep pinching and turning. And then you can start to do it in your hands. And you'll start to get some flat parts, some faces, and some vertices, and some edges. There we go. Mine went from looking like a really cool planet since it was a sphere. Ooh, we know the planets are spheres. And now it's looking like it's a really cool Christmas or birthday present. This would make really cool wrapping paper since mine's all mixed together. It's all swirly, all the different Play-Doh. So kindergarten, if you keep doing that, you'll see that it starts to turn into a cube. If you keep going, and then I'm starting to get some edges, I'm starting to get some vertices, and I'm starting to get some faces, some flat parts, nice and flat. And I know that it is turning into a cube because I can stack it without it rolling away. Ooh, we're going to talk about that later this week too. All right, kindergarten, I want you to go ahead and practice making your shapes at home. You can talk with your grown-up, or maybe you have a cousin or a brother or sister hanging out with you right now. Talk about the different things between a cube and a sphere, how they're different, and then remember how they're the same. They're both three-dimensional or solid shapes. Make sure you do your worksheet too. Have fun. Happy building. Happy shapes. I'll see you guys later.